Daytona. Whew. Does this place have some history? This is home of many champions over the years in the motorsport world. But they've been racing these dirt bike events here since 1973. Pretty cool, isn't it? Now the amateurs of the motocross world join the list of all-time greats to sling the dirt and fly over the world center of racing here at Daytona. Also, this is the GOAT's own rodeo here. He's won here in the dirt at Daytona more than anyone else in history, and he has the reins on this race. It's time to unleash the amateurs into the infamous Daytona Tri-Oval here in Florida. Let's kickstart this show.
The Monster Energy Ricky Carmichael Amateur Supercross Race Show, live from Daytona, is presented by WUSA, the preferred choice of motocross wheel sets for the sport's top racers. Now, here's your host, Jason Wygant.
Well, folks, welcome to Night 2. We're coming at you live from the World Center of Racing. Actually, the center of the World Center of Racing. We're on the infield at Daytona International Speedway. We're going to give it a wrap on the 5th annual Monster Energy Ricky Carmichael Amateur Supercross here at Daytona. This is your race show presented by W. Jason Wygant here, your host. We're going to have some special guests on a little bit later, but we want to get down to the brass tacks of racing. Yesterday, that was just qualifying, heat races, all that. Sounds good at first, but there's a big difference when we drop the gate on main events, and that's what we were doing today, basically from sun up to nearly sundown. About 1,250 total entries for this event. Gates were packed and full, and we had a lot more talent than we've had here in years past. So let's get down to it and show you exactly what this place looked like. We had a helmet cam on one of the fastest riders in the game, Brock Pappy, and we're going to show you what it looks like to do battle. This is not a clip from practice or a parade lap or a track build. This is the real deal, as we're going to go moto hose on board with Pappy. This is from a moto. Gate going to drop here. There's a main event format. All the marbles off the start, because life's like Supercross. You mess this up one time, your entire weekend is ruined. Here's your battle. Pappy able to squeeze into the number one spot. The rider he's going to have to deal with in this one is Jalek Swoll. That's two fast KTM kids in the 85 12-13 division. Look at these conditions. Look at this dirt. Not like the perfect thing to come on down to when you're snowed in the wintertime. Pappy's a Pennsylvania native. He knows what that's all about. But what we saw today, really, with the classes, yesterday there were heat races, so you'd often get a fast rider in one heat and another fast rider in another. Once they met up in the main, well, that racing got a whole lot better. You're going to see, you're thinking, oh, Pappy's gone, he's out front. But just check out the right side of your screen, ducking down to the inside. Oh yeah, we got a race on our hands. Swoll and Pappy. But these two guys get along pretty well off the track. Again, they're both KTM riders, but they wanted to beat each other in the worst way. Look at that little block pass Supercross action. Pappy's going to get back to the inside, then shade over to the right, make sure he's got the line covered. This one would go all the way down to the wire. Pappy would lead most of it, but it was a good job by Swoll to just keep the heat on. These riders would both get to taste victory before today was over in different classes. Here's your checkered flag. Victory for Pappy in the 12-13 division. This is what we like. Yeah, sportsmanship between he and Swoll captured on the helmet cam. That's exactly what it looks like to go on board with some of the fast mini-cycle pilots in 85 12-13 here at Daytona. And that's really what it's all about. I think the first couple of years of this event, from my perspective, it was a really cool kind of riding vacation to get out of the winter. We saw a lot of riders from as far north as Canada come down. Now, with the schedule changes to some of the other amateur events, this is considered one of the 5 majors now that the AMA has recognized. Now, a lot of the top amateurs, the top talent like Pappy and Swole, who you just saw, and other riders who you'll see in a few other clips later, they have now circled this one on the calendar as one they want to compete in, and it leads to much better racing like that. Who are some of the big stars? Well, let's get up close and personal with one of them with our Rider Spotlight.
My name's Alexander Fry. I'm 17 years old from Huntington, Maryland, and I race the 250B class. Here at Daytona, I have some pretty stacked classes. 250B, Schoolboy 2, and Amateur All-Star. They all have big names in them, and I'm definitely one of those. But other than that, it feels so great to be down here in Florida. The weather's perfect. The track, it's tough, rutted, all the things I like, and I couldn't be more stoked to race. Expectations really are top 3, stay off the ground. We're really building for Loretta's. This is really showing us where we're at in my training. I train with Carmichael, and we're going to take the information that we get from here and build towards the future. Signed a Red Bull deal in December. That's helped out a lot already. I can't thank FMF Orange Brigade KTM enough. They've got my bikes running great, and Fox. They're one of the people that have been behind me for so long, and a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that they do for me, and it really makes a difference.
Monster Energy Ricky Carmichael Daytona Amateur Supercross live race show presented by WUSA will return after these messages.
People ask me all the time, what do I do? I just have fun riding my dirt bike. I may be 27 years old, but I'm still a kid at heart. And I still have the same enthusiasm for riding dirt bikes as I did when I was a kid.
The reason we run the moto hose is, number one, they look cool. They're orange. They go with the motorcycle. Plus, they keep the with a silicone-based radiator hose. It keeps the temperature down, keeps the bike running cooler. It's more durable. Say if you're racing, you're riding, a header pipe gets against, bends and gets against the radiator hose. I think with a silicone-based hose, they're more durable, so they're going to handle the rigors and racing and everyday ups and downs of the motocross world.
It's time to return to the action live from Daytona. Welcome back to the Monster Energy Ricky Carmichael Daytona Amateur Supercross Race Show presented by WUSA.
Welcome back to your race show presented by W. Jason Wygant here. It's dark now, live at Daytona. They're actually taking the motocross, supercross portion of this race away. Bike Week will now transition over. They're going to do 1 day of work to get the infield ready for road racing. That'll start this weekend, and we'll also have flat track over that way. Just trust me, you're not here, so it's that direction, I swear. That'll be a flat track Thursday and Friday with the road racing Friday and Saturday. So that's what Bike Week is all about. If you never got to experience it in person yet, you really should take the opportunity to come down and bring the dirt bike. Because even with all the amateur talent we're talking about at the front, we still have a lot of the weekend warrior type classes, the age classes, the BC divisions, and things like that. So there's a place for everyone to come out here and get out of the cold and race. And if you say, hey, I live in Florida, so I don't need to get out of the cold, well, then you live close enough where you really don't have any excuse not to come join us. You probably know what it's all about already. Now, speaking of things you already know about, we're going to give you some highlights of some top riders today, and these are riders you probably have already heard of. Let's check out your W top riders. First guy we're going to talk about here is Styles Robertson. Probably doesn't need much of an introduction. Part of that Bakersfield bunch coming out of the desert in California. Looked awfully strong also in the sand of Florida. Styles, you can always pick out kids that have true talent when they're racing 65 on Kawasaki's to get picked up early. Now that he's moved on to the bikes even bigger than that, he is really strong. There's Kip Bigelow from the AMA handing over the #1 plate. Yes, they get to visit the Monster Trophy girls, backed by Soaring Eagle Casino and Ricky Carmichael's team. Here's Brock Pappy. You saw him before with the helmet cam. You know the kind of damage that he did. 85, 12 to 13. That is serious business. You know, some kids are a little smaller. Maybe they stay on 65s for a while. Some are a little bigger. Maybe they move up to Super Mini or full-on 250Fs. But in that 12 to 13 division, that's really the heart of the 85 class. You can win that thing. You're a bad dude. Again, a great battle between Pappy and Swole. Pappy out of Pennsylvania takes the win, gets the #1 plate. Definitely one of your top riders here. From that division, we go one step younger. Ryder D Francesco. He's starting to transition into the 65s, but he's still young enough to do some business on the 50s, and he was gone in the 7 to 851 cc class. Had a huge lead, and was battling for top 3 actually in a 65 about 10 minutes later. Got on the bigger bike and showed that he can ride that as well. Yeah, the intimidating scowl of Ryder D Francesco on the podium, bringing another #1 plate back to, yes, Bakersfield, California. A new class this year, something that they're kind of testing to see if it'll work at some of the big amateur events. It's called the 250 AB All-Stars. They're kind of saying, hey, if you're one of the fast guns of A or B, let's just see who's got what it takes. Come out here and race. Zach Commons, he had what it took. He grabbed the MotorcycleSuperstore.com whole shot. He grabbed the win on behalf of Monster Energy Team Green Kawasaki. Also, well done for Alexander Fry, a B rider who finished second in that one. I think Zach Commons liked being up there with the trophy girl. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, how about Barry Costin? Old bad dog. Usually comes down here and battles side by side with Earl May for some age championships. And they did battle in this 40A class for a while. I mean, it was like seeing a sidecar downtown in Daytona. They were next to each other the whole time, but then Earl May went down. He was okay, but Barry skipped away for the victory. Yeah, he's holding her a little bit tight up there. Barry knows what he's doing. We talked to this girl yesterday, Mackenzie Tricker. She laid waste to the first moto of the revamped women's motocross WMX class, and she did it again here in Moto 2 today. They did not run the Supercross format. These are points-paying 2 motos, just like they would be at a motocross event that goes to the WMX Championship. Can't start it much better than Tricker going 1-1 with a moto win yesterday and another dominant one today, although she did say the track was a whole heck of a lot rougher on day 2. The Australian sure seemed comfortable with it. Oh, up there with the trophy girl. Maybe I'll go join them next year. I can be the trophy guy. Tyler Kirshner in the 2-stroke class sure sounded nice. They were ripping it up out there. This is something that was brought back to the amateur division, I believe, 2 years ago. A lot of very, very popular, a lot of riders like this. See a lot of Yamahas and KTMs because they're still available at your dealerships, and this Yamaha rider took the win. Job well done, Tyler Kirshner. And we're going to talk to this kid in a little bit. Spoiler alert, we'll have him right here at the desk. Jacob Grzybinski, look at that airtime. He had a great battle with the 43. Bartos, I mean, they were just all over each other in a bunch of races, heat races and mains today. But Jacob was able to pull away when it counts, taking the win, and even throwing a little style fist pump. And again, we'll talk to him, get some first-hand knowledge of the track a little bit later in the show. Yeah, loving the number 1 plate. Taking it back to the MotoX compound there in Georgia. Austin Forkner, you know the kind of damage this kid can do on a Supercross tight track. You saw it at the Monster Energy Cup and Super Mini the last 2 years. Well, he brought that kind of game here to Florida. Super Mini, this is one of the last races of the day and one of the most highly anticipated. There are probably 5 or 6 riders with a lot of factory support already, and Forkner took the victory. Stick a Forkner in them. They were done once he grabbed the whole shot. Now, you saw the spotlight on Alexander Fry earlier. What a day he had. He won 2 classes and finished second in that all-star division. He was on the gas. Actually, I think spent a couple of days down at Ricky Carmichael's farm in Florida, just as a little bit of a tune-up. Not an official program there, but they let him come down and hang out. And obviously that little bit of a tune-up did pay off as he went 2-2-1, and really the only class, 1-1-2. And again, the only class he didn't win, where he finished second, he was a B rider racing against the A-class riders in the All-Star division. Doesn't get much better than that. The family certainly was proud. And they come up to join him, celebrate a number 1 plate. Maybe the biggest name in all the amateur ranks right now is Aaron Plessinger. And he made it as difficult for himself as possible. He signed up for 2 classes, Pro Sport 250, Pro Sport 450. He won them both. Old AP 57 made it easy on himself getting out front, but then there was a red flag in the 250 class, so they went all the way back and ran another 12 laps. So he had to put in some work, but he was once again able to get out front into the 250 division after the restart. They ran 7 laps the first time. They ran 12 laps, full race again the next time. Started 5th. Had the lead by the end of the first lap, passed 4 riders on the first lap, and was gone. So if you're counting at home, he ran 7 laps, race was red flagged, led another 12 in the full restart. So that was 19 laps led on a rough track. Still had enough energy to do a nice little hero clicker. And then came back and won the 450 Pro Sport for good measure. What a performance by AP. He might just be the hottest property in the amateur ranks right now. I know there's a couple other big names out there that are fighting injuries. Would have been nice to maybe see RJ Hampshire down here and a couple of other riders, but they'll probably meet up in the pro ranks, so we'll get our chance to see how it turns out. But overall, that's the type of amateur talent that we were hoping that this race would attract a couple of years ago. It's definitely happening now, especially with Plessinger, like I said, who might be the biggest name of them all. I know Hampshire would have been here if he didn't have an injury, so we can look forward to more showdowns in the future at a race like this on a Supercross type environment where they set each other up in the bowl turns just like they would do on Saturday night with the pros. So great racing today, great weather, track got rough, it was a real proving ground. And we're going to talk to some riders, get up close and personal, and find out exactly how it was for them. We'll take one more commercial break and bring on some guests.
The Monster Energy Ricky Carmichael Daytona Amateur Supercross Live Race Show, presented by WUSA, will return after these messages.
Motocross for me has never been about the fame or the money. I mean, it's always been about having fun on my dirt bike. First time I ever got on a dirt bike, it was like the gnarliest adrenaline rush that I'd ever experienced, and I wanted to keep doing it. There's so many different emotions and feelings that go into riding that I can't even explain to someone that's never been on a dirt bike. I mean, it's something that you really have to experience to understand.
The reason we run the moto hose is, number one, they look cool. They're orange. They go with the motorcycle. Plus, they keep the with a silicone-based radiator hose. It keeps the temperature down, keeps the bike running cooler. It's more durable. Say if you're racing, you're riding, a header pipe gets against, bends and gets against the radiator hose. I think with a silicone-based hose, they're more durable, so they're going to handle the rigors and racing and everyday ups and downs of the motocross world.
It's time to return to the action live from Daytona. Welcome back to the Monster Energy Ricky Carmichael Daytona Amateur Supercross Race Show presented by WUSA.
All right, welcome back to the show. You just saw some of our top riders with our highlights. We were talking about Jacob Grzybinski. I got it now.
Grzybinski.
I thought the Z was a silent Z, but it is there.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to remember. You just got to think of a bear in a bin with wearing skis.
Nice.
Grzybinski.
Grzybinski. So we saw highlights in the area and out. I liked it. You dealt with some adversity, even yesterday. The starts weren't always whole shots. Sometimes they were, but even when they weren't, you did not care. You were sending it. You were over jumping things if you had to. You were on it. You got to be pumped.
Yeah, I had to do what I had to do. I'm just pumped to be here, really, actually, because I had some bad luck last year and came here and actually went to Mill Creek, didn't have the best luck, and I was just like hoping, I hope I can do good. And I woke up today, I'm like, I want to win. Like one of the first ones I ever said, I want to win, like more than anybody else, like the want. And it was a great feeling, and I feel I did it today. Yeah,
so you got a B title and a college title. But take me through yesterday. You even said you had to go to the LCQ, actually. The heat race didn't work out at all.
Yep, for my first college boy moto, had a pretty decent start, was sitting in second, passed the kid for first, and I lost traction, then gained traction, launched off a jump, landed on my back, hurt myself, and I actually didn't want to race the rest of the weekend because I was so banged up, hurt my wrist and my side. But said, you know what, I seen Chad Reed sit there, and he said he wanted to ride the next weekend after that, after everything that happened to him, and I was just like, why can't I do it? So here I am now.
Yeah, went to the LCQ, got the win in that, came back and won the moto. So what does this do for you, man? Getting two, you were hoping to get one title, that would be awesome. You got them both.
Yeah, it's hard to explain the enjoyment. I've never won a title in my life, and this is my first title being at Daytona, which was my goal. Out of all the races I wanted to do good at was Daytona. I got the first one, and it was just like the best feeling in the world. I couldn't believe I did what I did, and I was like, let's go out for 250B, see what happens. I had some pressure going in because everyone was kind of had the target on my back for what happened in the college boy. They wanted some revenge on me. Didn't have the best luck in my whole shot. I went from like 15th and worked my way through the pack. There were some crashes. I got around, and I ended up third that moto. But I'm okay with it from where I started. And then for the last 450B moto, I just kind of sat there, and I was just like, I did the same thing like the Carmichael does, because Matt Walker's been telling us at the Motox compound. He went to the line every time saying he's the best, and he knows he's the best. So I just kept telling myself that over and over and over again, thinking that, make myself believe, and got a decent hole shot. Got pinched in, went from 5th, caught up to 2nd, or got into 2nd place, settled in behind Chase Bell. Figured I'd just sit there and draft him for a couple laps until like 3 laps to go, and then I was going to really push because wait for him to get tired. And fortunately, he tipped over. I took advantage, and I got the number 1.
Yeah, all right. So you're bringing that back to Old Baja Acres?
Yep,
That's
back in Michigan.
Literally your home.
I live right, like, from here to this track is from my house to my track.
Killer. And then the rest of the year, what are your plans? Where are you headed? Where will we see you next?
I'm probably going to go back to Matt Walker's for the rest of the week, and then I'm going to leave for Freestone.
Okay.
And then after that, I'm going to come home, chill out for a little bit, see my friends, and then get ready for Cali, because I'm pretty sure I'm going to Mammoth or whatever it's called, Mammoth Mountain.
Yeah.
And then come home, train for Loretta's. If I get invited to Monster Cup, Mini O's, and then wherever the world takes me.
This could be your year, man.
This
could really
could be
put
my
you on the
year.
map.
I was really hoping for it. Last year at Loretta's, came in knowing where I was a top 5, 5th place contender. But if I would have got there, I would have been bumped to A. And this my first year, and B class was last year. And most kids have done it for 3 years or 2 years. This is my 2nd or 3rd year. I can't really remember. But went in there wanting to get 10s to 6s, so I didn't get bumped to A. And then just chilled there. And then hopefully this year's my year.
All right. So far, so good, man. Nice to meet you.
For
Go
sure.
send my regards to Peter Doust up there at Baja Acres.
I will
A
do.
good
Thank
dude.
you.
Congratulations, man. I'll shake your hand again because it's 2 titles.
I'm
3
pumped.
handshakes. So that's Jacob Grzbinski. Get to know him. You'll probably see him at the Mammoth and the other races, Freestone, Loretta's, and the rest. And we're going to transition over. We can grab Ashton Hayes. Good job with the interview, too.
Thanks.
You're going to get a lot more of those if you do well. We're going to bring Ashton Hayes on
Can't
over.
wait. All right,
And
cool.
right on. Nice to meet you. And thanks for keeping it entertaining for us with some of those charges through the pack. Flying the flag for Suzuki. Got a guy running some yellow here and was running well. Let's see how the look you want to rock. All right, I like it. So take us through how it went. First of all, I actually just want to ask about the track. We see it's like in a helmet cam. On trackside, it looked choppy and square and rough. What did you think of it?
Yeah, I mean the track was good. They maintained it pretty well, and it got rough and it got choppy, but throughout the day they kept it pretty good, and I mean I was impressed. I've been here in past years and it got pretty bad, but I thought they kept it pretty good.
Now, is it fun? I mean, it gets gnarly, it gets rough, but is it actually fun?
Yeah, no, and in past years I noticed they tamed it down a whole lot, and they kind of kept it up this year, and they left some of the obstacles and stuff, and I liked it a lot. I thought it was fun.
Yeah. Now, take me through some of your races. Most of them are good. I saw one point, unfortunately, you were down, tangled up with some guys, so ups and downs overall.
Yeah, I had pretty good heat races. I got second, and then I went down once and ended up like 13th, I think, but my first main event in 250B, I got second overall, or second in the main, and then the next one, I got taken out after I got the whole shot and dented my header pipe. And then after that, I got back up. I think I probably got 15th or something. And then in the AB All-Star class, two guys cross-jumped each other. I landed right on them and messed my bike up again. So
You know, you're rocking the 7 gear
Yep.
on the Suzuki. And then what happened in that race, the start, the header pipe, it was
Header pipe,
exactly like James on Saturday.
I know. Well, we came back, and I wasn't even sure what was wrong with the bike until we were looking around, and I looked right at it, and I was like, there's no way, but I don't know. Things happen, so.
Right. But overall, you happy with how you rode at least?
Yeah, no, I mean, I felt like I rode good all weekend and just try to carry it into Freestone.
Yeah, what's next for you, the James Stewart Classic there?
Yeah, I just plan on staying down here and riding some local tracks and then head over to Texas and race the Freestone National.
Gotcha. And then what comes up after that?
Probably go back to Georgia for a couple days and get my stuff around. Maybe head back to Michigan, do some qualifiers, and then get ready for Loretta's.
Okay. And do you know what classes you're necessarily aiming for there yet, or is it a little too early to tell?
It's a little early to tell. I mean, I think definitely Schoolboy 2, but I'm just
Yep.
trying to find another class to run because I'm not sure I really want to point out a B in my first year on big bikes. So.
Right.
So we're
Yeah.
trying to figure that out, but yeah.
It
should
is
be good.
weird how that works. Like, you got to have the long-range plan,
Yeah,
right?
you got to think it through, otherwise it could bite you. But I don't know. We're working on it.
Yeah. All right. Well, nice to meet you,
Nice
Ashton
to meet you.
Hayes,
Thank
and
you.
looking good in keeping the yellow, the
Yeah.
flame alive for the yellow.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, cool. Nice to meet you, and that's great to have these two guys kind of putting their names on the map at this event, and we'll probably remember that for a long time to come because competition is just going to keep getting fiercer here every year. I don't even know if we can fit many more riders than we had. We can only do a 2-day format because, like we said, they need to change this place up and turn it into a road race facility. So it's always going to be the heart of it right here. A Sunday and a Monday right after the Daytona Supercross by Honda on Saturday. Hope you can join us in person next year. If not, go to MXPTV.com. We got plenty more coverage coming all week long. Glad you're able to join us, though, for our live shows. For everyone here, I'm Jason Wygant. See ya in 2015.